This week I'm going to be going through my $1,000 filmmaking kit, which includes everything you need to start shooting high quality video. Hello, my name is Cade and this is DSLRguide. So today I'm just going to be going through all the equipment that I would get if I didn't have any filmmaking equipment and I wanted to spend $1,000 on my kit. So the idea is that if you have, maybe you've got a camera or you're looking to get a camera, but you kind of thinking, well, what else do I need? Do I need microphones? Do I need lighting equipment? Do I need a tripod? And it's really hard to get an idea of how much you should be spending on each of those different pieces of equipment. So first thing is the camera, of course. Now you could spend $1,000 on the camera very easily, but then you wouldn't have any microphones, you wouldn't have any other things to use it with, you'd just have the camera. So I recommend that you spend $600 on the camera and you get yourself a Canon 600D. Now this is the camera that I'm using right now. I've had it for a year and it's basically what I think to be the best value, low cost camera. So you could spend twice as much on a DSLR and it probably wouldn't be much better. So this one is just, it's really cheap and it puts out a really good image. It's a really good value camera. So that's where you're going to start, and you're going to get the kit lens for now because you're just getting started, and but there's plenty of room to upgrade if you want to spend more money on lenses later. Now you'll need some SD cards to film with, so I recommend the SanDisk 16GB class 10, and two of these will be a good place to start, 32 gig, and will give you well over an hour's worth of recording time. The next piece of equipment is your tripod. Now in this kit I've just included a really cheap tripod. It's pretty much the cheapest one you can find in America. That would be the Ravelli tripod, or in England the Harmer tripod is probably your best choice, and these are literally just the cheapest thing that you can find. Now if you want to, you can spend a bit more on the tripod, but again, for £1,000 filmmaking kit I recommend those tripods because they will be able to hold the 600D. They won't be very good for panning and tilting, but you can get a standard locked off shot like I've got now here, and that will work nicely. So cheap tripod, again, room for upgrade. Now audio is something which a lot of beginner filmmakers will neglect. So I'm going to say right now that you should spend a lot more in audio than perhaps you might think. So audio is actually half of the video. Now this is something, a phrase that gets thrown around a lot. The idea that if you're going to spend £600 on your camera, you should probably spend £600 on your audio. Now I don't quite use this ratio, but the idea is there that you shouldn't skimp on your audio because people will notice. People are more likely to notice bad audio quality than they are to notice bad video quality. So you should really make sure that you are investing into good audio equipment. So for this, the base of it is a Zoom H1. Again, I'm using that right now. It's an audio recorder which has a SD card slot, so you can record the sound as an MP3 or a WAV file, and then plugged into that you'll put the Rode video mic. This way you have a really good setup. It's the setup I'm using right now, and it's relatively cheap, and yet it gets you good results. Now you'll need a boom pole. So there's the Rode micro boom pole, which is kind of the cheapest thing out there, but that's a good solid boom pole which will allow you to put the microphone on. But you will need a grip to put between the microphone and the boom pole, and then you'll also need a wire to connect the microphone to the Zoom H1. But that is your really solid setup for audio, and it will allow you to do interview style setups like this, or a short film or anything like that. The important thing is it's getting the microphone nice and close, and you're getting far superior audio quality to what you'd have if you just used the camera's inbuilt microphone. So this is really important. Don't skimp on this. I can't say enough how important that is. Okay, so in terms of batteries, the battery that comes with the 600D will only last about an hour. So I recommend you get at least one extra so that you can use the camera for longer. Now if you're in America, that's where I'd recommend the Fotiv battery. This is a third-party battery. It's not as expensive as the original battery, but it's almost as good, and the important thing is it's a lot cheaper. And then if you're in England, you can get the Maxima Photo battery, which is similar, just the kind of English equivalent. So the next thing you want to get is a bag to put all this stuff in. If you can find a backpack around the house or something which will do, then that's great. But again, we're gonna have to look for a really cheap bag in order to keep it under $1,000. And so in America there's a Zykos bag, which looks okay, and then in England I'd recommend the DuraGadget backpack. Now these are both really cheap, but when you're getting started these should hold out pretty good. But again, there's plenty of room for upgrade here. There are a lot of really nice bags out there, which only cost a bit more, but they are worth it too. Okay, so that's pretty much all you can get with $1,000. Now, if, for instance, you already have the camera, then you might have a bit of extra money, or let's say you're just looking to upgrade and you've already got that stuff. The things I'd recommend to get after this, outside of the $1,000 budget, are the Camera QV1 viewfinder. This looks like a really good viewfinder. I haven't tried it myself, but I have ordered it now, and it looks really good in that you can unscrew it, and it's quick release, which is really important for a viewfinder. And then the Polaroid rig is a nice cheap handheld rig, which will allow you to get handheld shots that are a lot more stable. And then the other thing I'd recommend is a 5-in-1 reflector. I'm using one right now, and they basically are just really good for bouncing light, because they're really cheap and they basically get the job done. They're like a big mirror which you can use to bounce light from windows or other light sources to improve your lighting, and they can actually have a really big effect on the video. Okay, so that's my $1,000 filmmaking kit. So that is what I think to be the best beginner's set of equipment. So if you haven't got any equipment and you were to order all that stuff, I think that would be a really good foundation in terms of equipment. And you know, it's not too expensive. There's a fair amount of stuff there, but it does, you know, that will get you some high quality video and high quality audio without having to cost too much. So I've started to prepare some $2,000 builds, some $3,000 builds, and some higher ones. So if you guys are interested in those, let me know in the comments, and I'll be sure to release those videos too. So yeah, that's it for my budget kit for filmmaking. That's it for this week. I'll see you next time.